Welcome guys, welcome back to Mingo's Corner once again. I'm your host. Today we're going to be reacting to Why Did the League of the Three Emperors Fail Twice? It's a new video on a very popular channel. Link is in the description, go support them. Now, I don't really know what this is about. When I think Three Emperors, or Emperors in general, I think the Treaty of Vienna in 1815, 1814, when Napoleon was exiled. All the emperors went to Vienna to basically divide everything. That's what I think when I think emperors. And uh, were there three emperors back then? I think Austrian emperor, the Russian. There were kings, but was there another emperor? No, it wasn't. So two. Anyways, I don't know what this is about. So yeah, guys. Yeah. If you like it, leave a like, subscribe, and let's go on.
Love their alliances. The Franco-Ottoman alliance, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance, the Triple
Yep.
Alliance, and not to mention the Swedish anyone who isn't Denmark alliance. And one alliance which often isn't discussed, probably because of the whole failure thing, was the League of the Three Emperors, which saw Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Russia.
Yeah, I remember this. Basically, Otto von Bismarck created the alliance, or at least ensured it. It was a great political move. And then Wilhelm II was like, you know what? You know who's a better ally?
Twice attempt to ally together to maintain the balance of power in Europe. This alliance was obviously extremely powerful, and given its ability to change the face of the continent, why didn't it last? Why did the League of the Three Emperors fail twice? So, when it comes to alliances in the late 19th century, Germany was fairly promiscuous. And the policy reason behind this, formulated by Chancellor Otto von Bismarck, was fairly simple. To hell with France. Germany's creation had seen it rip these lands from France in 1871, and Bismarck knew that one day France would seek to get them back. And that the best way for him to prevent this was to create a series of alliances that would dissuade France from trying at all. Which is why Bismarck turned to his neighbours. To the east, the vast Russian Empire led by Alexander II. Bismarck also looked to the south at the Austro-Hungarian Empire, which was less keen on the Prussian leadership of Germany, having recently lost a war to them, but nobody else liked it, so tough. This alliance was agreed in 1873, and it's important to
Austria-Hungary, always the butt of the joke.
note that this alliance wasn't a formal one in the sense of a declaration of war against one meant one against all. It was one in which the three agreed to not upset the already existing balance of power, to help each other suppress revolts, and to provide some troops and equipment in case of war involving a country not part of the treaty. Sounds simple, except that a mere 5 years later, the League of the Three Emperors was over. So why did this happen? Well, there were two reasons. The first was France. After its previous defeat, France swiftly rearmed, leading Bismarck to believe war was in sight. As such, he publicly threatened a preemptive invasion of France to stop this, and the Russian emperor made it clear that if this happened, he'd invade from the east. The second reason was the Balkans, specifically Bulgaria. In 1878, Russia decisively won a war against the Ottoman Empire, and as a result dictated its allies Bulgaria's expansion to this. This importantly gave Russia access to these ports in the Aegean and made it a player in the Mediterranean. Everybody who was already there freaked out, and there were rumblings of war. As such, Germany offered to mediate and settled on these borders. This upset the Russians because they lost their port, and it also upset the Austro-Hungarians who felt that Russia was inciting Slavic rebellions, and the alliance promptly broke up. Undeterred, Bismarck pushed for a second, much more formal alliance which would condemn France to having no friends. In 1879, he concluded the dual alliance with Austria-Hungary, in which both formally agreed to defend each other. Russia wouldn't agree to a formal defensive alliance, and so instead Bismarck compromised. The new alliance, the League of the Three Emperors, would see Russia agree to discreetly support either Germany or Austria in the event of a war with an outside power, and those two agreed to support Russia in a war against Britain. For Bismarck, this was enough, and he'd eliminated the possibility of Germany having to fight a two-front war. And this time, this alliance managed to last for 6 years. So what happened the second time? The Balkans happened. And again, it was Bulgaria. After the 1878 changes, the Bulgarian people living here revolted against the Ottoman Empire, and they declared that they were joining the rest of the semi-independent Bulgaria, which promptly declared that it was now independent. Whilst this was going on, Serbia invaded, lost, but it had the backing of Austria-Hungary who came to their rescue. Russian leaders were...
Wait, what? Austria-Hungary had the backing of the Serbs? Okay. I mean, am I the only one who's surprised here? What?
Furious with their ally not consulting them, and so promptly dissolved the alliance. Bismarck wanted to try again, but he was too busy being fired by the new Kaiser Wilhelm II.
Yeah, and that was, Wilhelm II I get it where he was coming from. You know, new Kaiser, new generation. He wanted new blood. But Otto von Bismarck is one of those people. Now, granted, disclaimer: I don't know that much about the guy. I know a lot about. I know a little bit. But basically, what I know is that he was one of the few politicians that, when he left, the country took the turn for the worst. Man, well, I'm looking this through the lens of the 21st century, which doesn't help to motivate you in the power of politicians, you know. But yeah, Otto von Bismarck was a very adept politician. He was very good at it. He was very successful as well. He was able to unify Germany. He did a lot of things for Prussia. Uh, Anyways, to be honest, I don't want to give more of my opinion because I don't have the facts at all to be making any kind of substantial claims here. So,
As such, Russia turned to France and the two signed an alliance in 1894, which set the stage for the alliance system leading to World War One.
okay.
I hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, I liked it. So, in 1894, the Russians and the French become bros. Germany, Austria-Hungary become bros. And then what's weird to me, not so much weird, but you know who got screwed at the end a lot after the First World War, in my opinion? The Italians. Because the Italians, uh, they didn't join Austria-Hungary and the German alliance because they wanted lands that were, owned by the Austro-Hungarians. So they were like, you know what? The only way we can take those lands is if we join the Allies. And then in the Treaty of Versailles, what had happened, they didn't get everything they wanted, so they got screwed. Anyways, the Italians, you know, they peaked with the Romans, Roman Empire. You know, they peaked, and since then it's been a decline of, well, of course, the Renaissance, but 19th, 20th century Italians, not so good. You know, Mussolini. You know, anyways, guys, I hope you liked my reaction. Leave a like, subscribe, and all that. I'll see you guys next time. See you guys.